Welcome, Solara here. I think this is going to be a quick one because I was just uploading the videos 23:44 on my clock. I was just uploading the video about, it's entitled Ritualistically Place Your Love Life and Opportunities for Happiness with Others on the Altar. And I just am getting a lot of downloads today, and a lot of the time what I do is I'll put it off and I'll say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then the next day comes and the download has the freshness of it has left. So I want to talk a little bit about divine unions, okay? And I want to speak a little bit about this energy of many divine unions having been placed on the altar in order to in order to pay for other people's illusions and cloakings. But beyond that, what my guides have been showing me, what they just showed me just now, was really interesting because it kind of carries on from a reading I did, I think it was like a week ago or 10 days ago. I don't remember the name of the reading, but it was all about the energy that showed up in the end of it was all about a marine spirit, and it's when the King of Cups started to show up in this energy of this like exchange between a society and a marine entity. And what was coming up in the reading, and I didn't really crack it open or begin to expose it, was this idea that in this particular reading, someone's union had been sacrificed in order to bring forth a union between two lower entities. And when I finished with that reading, my guide started to speak to me a little bit more about that and started to remind me about how the kingdom of darkness, like the kingdom of light, if we're going to call it that, the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light, the enemy, there's this concept that I was sharing that I learned when I was a born-again Christian of how the enemy can never create anything. Creation is the birthright of the children of God, and God, him and herself, mother and father God. We are creators because we are the children of God. And so the enemy can only counterfeit or take what it is that we already have created and spin it to cast an illusion, and turn it into something else. But it's through the ability of casting illusions. This is what the enemy is very gifted at. If you're going to look at it from like the Judeo-Christian standpoint of viewing this, which is very useful in us like understanding some of these energies too, because just like we were sent here to help Gaia ascend, just like we were sent here to help humanity ascend through the process of healing and clearing the old world out of ourselves in order to heal ourselves, to ascend and to begin the process of getting that energy going. There was another, how do I explain this? It was like this was happening too in the dark. So just like we were trying to bring in our new earth, they were trying to bring in, I'm not going to call it what it is because y'all know what it is. I don't want them to flag or anything. So they were trying to bring in their own thing, right? And I never put two and two together about the twin flame thing until I began to recognize that just like we have divine unions that have been placed here in order to seed the energies of what is needed for the new earth relational dynamics to begin to be able to fruit and bloom. They also had their counterfeit profane unions that were set to do the same thing, set mirror what it was that we were doing divinely in order to keep their illusions going. I hope that makes sense. So for many of you, this is what your unions have been ritually sacrificed for time and time again. And the way they did that again was through for a lot of you, the way that was enacted was through secret society and coven involvement that gave these societies and these covens, these orders, access to you because of other relatives that have pledged. Now, some of these relatives they're not aware at all of the implications of what they do when they take these oaths and these vows and these pledges and these covenant agreements. What they don't realize spiritually is that they are often binding their entire bloodline. Okay, and when you do that, what you're doing is you're giving the kingdom that they're serving, which was, the matrix system, which was run off of, lower vibrational entities that were part of a counter kingdom to the kingdom of God. Let's put it that way. So they gave this kingdom and its agendas full access to us. And part of our divine legacy is to be in divine union, not only romantically, but also in terms of businesses and the things that we were sent to bring forth through the value that is within us, that was given to us for our own destiny and our own mission here on the earth plane, as well as all of our relationships where we have been sent to co-create divinely. So, being parents, creating family, romantically linked friendships, business partnerships, all of these relationships that we're calling them like the return of soul family now. They're divine gifts for us in order to expand this energy on the earth that facilitates the continual raising of the vibration of the planet to assist with ascension and new earth relational dynamics. Okay, so that was a mouthful. So this is what this was about. This is also partially what the twin flame thing was about. I don't get down with the label twin flames because I understand and I overstand that every single word has a frequency. It has a frequency, and its frequency and its vibration is built based upon what is channeled into it. This is partly energy work, and it builds up momentum through how much attention we then give it. And the twin flame phenomenon, while many of us began to discover the truth by way of that, we exited it because the twin flame phenomenon is a trap to keep people constantly cycling through pain cycles of runner and chaser, getting together, not getting together, because that was part of how they harvested and harnessed that energy to feed their counterfeit unions also. And they attached it also to that label, twin flame. It's how they could ritually harness and harvest. That's why I don't like it. I don't even like divine counterparts, because that word counterpart means against. So I prefer divine partners and divine co-creators. That's how I see it. We're all free to have, believe whatever you want to believe, but this is how it's been shown to me. So as I was uploading that video, and my guide started to talk to me about the potency of sexual union between divine partners. Now, I want to preface this by saying that sex energy is not always to do with the act of sex. Sex energy is the beginning spark of everything. It's the Ace of Wands. It's passion, it's drive, it's motivation. It can even be, to some extent, anger. Okay, and I don't want to get into any conversation around that because I don't want you to think of it from a toxic standpoint. But anger is a very powerful expression to break you higher into um, into into your ascended self, right? Because righteous anger is what enables us to break through the stagnations that have repressed us, suppressed us, depressed us, to keep us out of our power and our truth. It is, and when I compare it to sex energy, it's because it is a triggering force that can begin a very powerful momentum. And as such, this is why in the card, the Ace of Wands, it represents sexual energy, but it can also represent anger, but it's righteous anger when it's in the upright, because it's Aries energy predominantly that sets off the Ace of Wands energy, although it's also connected to Leo and Sagittarius. Because Aries is a cardinal energy, it has a little bit more weight with the Ace of Wands, and that Aries energy is about connecting with the mind of God. And then the Leo is the heart of God. And the Sagittarius energy is being able to take the truth of God forward. Okay, so that's the fire energy that comes to clear the path in order to bring things into fruition. But it's also connected to sex energy because it's the beginning of all. It's what sets an energy into momentum for it to be able to actually build and eventually become something as above, so below, eventually become something physically. The reason why many of you have been kept in either very low level love relationships, loveless relationships. I mentioned this in a reading the other day. I am writing some stuff about this, which I will release to you guys soon too, about some of the symptoms that occur within family lines and situations where people have pledged to these orders and these societies that are the invisible forces that underpin a lot of how our systems of the world are run, which were quite corrupt. And if not so materially, then definitely spiritually, but we know as above, so below. But one of the things that I mentioned was people being stuck in loveless marriages, spinsterhood, chronic bachelors who don't want to be, like people who can't seem to be in love, because it causes dysfunction to the family line. It causes grave schism in the family line, which I'm not going to get into right now. But one of the things is that it causes constant dysfunction in romance and relationships. So even if people are together, a lot of the time they're contentious relationships. They're rife with infidelity or with domestic violence or narcissism. It's a lot of dysfunction within the families of people who pledge to these orders. It's why so much of the time in these very well-to-do families, there's always that kid that goes crazy, right? They're always in and out of rehab and all this other stuff, and people are so dismissive and out of touch that they like to think, oh, it's because this person's spoiled. No, it's because that kid is probably the one who's ritually sacrificed and constantly being split energetically, and their soul is fragmented, and they're looking for some kind of relief, but they don't realize what the fuck is going on with them. That's what's happening with that kid, right? But what my guides were showing me is that this whole idea of trying to keep true divine partners out of union, and specifically in terms of romantic relationships, was to stop the sacred sexual union that would ultimately unlock energies in the new earth, that would ultimately unlock energies that would usher in the new earth frequencies rapidly. This is why at every turn they've been trying to delay. They've been trying to delay because a part of them really thought that they could stop this ascension, and they were going at it from every angle, and getting between divine partners was one. But the way they utilized certain family members or people who were members of these societies specifically to target these unions was also to do with the fact that for as long as you or the person you're thinking about was in a state of pain, is how they were harvesting and harnessing your energy and your divine gifts and legacies, how they had access. So part of it was that keeping you separated, or perpetually runner chaser, all this other crap, to keep you in lower vibrations, lower states of pain, get you trapped in certain timelines where you're constantly cycling through the same thing and you're not realizing it, But the point of it ultimately was to keep you from ascending. And part of the point of coming together in divine partnership is about co-creating a grander scale of the very vibrations that are here to help you ascend as individuals, as a couple, as a group, as an earth. Yes. So, 0000 on my clock, reset energy. So what I was saying in one of my other videos, where was I going to go with this, Spirit? Bring me back into... what I was saying in the video I did on, I think it was Friday, about the new moon, is that there is this growing energy. It's picking up. And it's really picking up during this 2-week window from the new moon in Aquarius to the full moon in Leo. And it's feeling like as we reconnect more with our power and with our, what people would call our God abilities, which is brought courtesy of the Aquarian energy and Uranus moving direct, there's going to be a spreading of truth by wildfire. But what they're showing me also is that that's the same kind of energy that's going to happen when divine partners come into union. And this is why at every turn they've tried to block this, delay this, cause schisms, cause all manner of issues, because ultimately there's very powerful emotional pain that can be harnessed off a divine being in pain. That's one thing. There's very powerful pain alchemy that can be harnessed off of divine partners who are in lower vibrations, okay, to feed their counterfeit energies, right? But there's a great healing that's coming forth when divine partners come into union on an energetic standpoint, but there's a great unlocking of something within the earth plane that is going to cause ascension to move through the earth like a rapid wildfire when divine partners come into sexual union. But it's not just any sexual union. It's about the unlocking of certain... It's like the unlocking of certain portals that up until now, neither one has had access to because they've been being harvested, harnessed, imprisoned, binded astrally in order that other energies, entities, people, corporations had access. And now when they come together and they are in divine alignment and come into sacred sexual union, it's like going to be a star exploding. That's how I'm seeing it. And I'm not talking just about the pleasure or the orgasm, although that's what adds and increases to the energy. This is why they like sex magic too. But it's deeper than that. It's almost like locks and keys. There are certain individuals that, and this is not me at all saying, I don't fully subscribe to this whole idea of one person for, I don't subscribe to that, right? But I do believe that there are certain people that come into our path to activate and deactivate us. And we've been surrounded by a lot of people who were deactivating us. And just like you can watch my video and you can be activated through me and I'm just talking to you through a screen, there are people who, when you come into intimate union with them, they are able to unlock something in you that nobody else can. And this is what they've been trying to prevent, not only in divine unions, but in divine exchanges, even like this one, right? So yes, I hope I'm breaking this down. Well, maybe we'll go into the cards just a little bit. I don't want to be too long in doing this reading, but I wanted to finally just speak a little about that, and I welcome your comments. Please let's talk about this. But yeah, there's something about their counterfeit kingdom and their counterfeit profane unions that our divine unions and the delay of them have been feeding. And it all goes back again to these big time lower resonating, lower vibrating entities they've been using to lock our grids that ultimately get the big feed. If that makes sense. So let's see if I can get any more info and intel. So we have the Knight of Wands coming out, and I feel like that again is indicating this energy of something. Yeah, we have two knights. These are fast-moving energies. We have the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands. This is all about passion and emotion. So this is all about, there's this energy that's ushering, it's like, and then at the bottom we have the High Priestess. It's like as this information is coming out, as all of what has been hidden in secret is coming into the light. You know, like as we do the job we have as shadow workers and light workers, which is ultimately one and the same, whether we are exposing the darkness, judging the darkness, utilizing the power of darkness to bring things back into balance. It's all the work that we've been sent here to do, right? But as we're doing that, you know, as we're moving forward, yeah, we have the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Wands. As we're doing this and we're moving forward, we're recovering our own power by way of exposing the darkness to step into our light. This is this energy of ushering this in. And it's coming in again on that energy of fire, so spirit, but it's coming in emotion. And so what I'm being shown right now is that, and I don't, is there any timing here that I can, maybe Pisces season, we have the High Priestess, which is the major arcana, major energy here. So this is Pisces energy. So maybe we'll see some of this begin to unfurl more in Pisces season, but I'm getting this huge, like, injection of spirit that's setting off this fire in response. But the fire is the energy, in the sense that it's fast moving and fast sweeping, but what it's actually working upon is our heart space. And for many of us, whether you are you know, in a divine counterpart situation or not, just being a divine being, there's a great, like, flood of energy that's coming towards us. It's helping us not only to heal, but to move forward in the direction of everything that they tried to take from us, including our passion and our drive to be able to move forward and our innocence. This is what I'm really getting with the Knight of Cups here. The Knight of Cups is almost an adolescent energy. And if you think back on adolescence, it's really a time where the young buds of romance, it's just beginning. It's you have so much hope for love when you are a teenager and you're old enough to be able to want to begin to explore it and express it. There's something about that returning, and it's returning as more of this stuff is coming to light. It's returning as we're doing our jobs as high priestesses and high priests, if that's what we've been called to do. But I also feel like we're going to see a big sweeping of it during Pisces season, because Pisces, of course, is also connected to it's connected to psychic insight, but it's also ruled by Neptune, which is Neptune is actually the higher octave of Venus. So Venus is about the expression of physical and material love, but Neptune is about divine love, right? But beyond that, Pisces energy is also to do with 12th house, and we are wrapping up rapidly a very, very, very major karmic cycle. That's not just personal, it's collective, and it has a lot to do with closing out these energies that have been using us to sacrifice, which again is that age of Pisces energy, to sacrifice us for what these other energies that were playing God called the greater good, when really it was just, selfishness. But there's something here about us taking back our authority here on the earth plane with the King of Pentacles energy here. The King of Pentacles energy is, it's the mastery of the material. It's the mastery of the completed manifestation of what was above being below. But it's also beyond it, just like the Ten of Pentacles is a complete manifestation of as above, so below, right? Whether it's in the upright or reverse, it's a final, card of manifestation. If you're looking at the tarot through that system, it begins at the Ace of Wands and it ends with the Ten of Pentacles. But the King of Pentacles energy is that ability to be in authority over those things, not just for those things to exist, but to be an authority and to be the one who is in possession of the energy and is directing the energy too. So there's a very strong, also masculine component coming in here, very strong masculine energy. We have the High Priestess here, which of course is like the feminine energy that deals with the things behind dark. But then we have behind the veil. There's no veil anymore. Then we have the Knights, which are also masculine energies. Knights are more masculine and pages tend to be more feminine in the tarot. So we have the Knight energy that is bringing us into this energy of restoration over our own ability to do what it is that we need to do to create our abundant realities in the material. And there's something about the crowning of the divine masculine energy in our ability to do that within ourselves as individuals, male, female, non-binary. It doesn't really matter. I'm speaking again about yang energy, let's put it that way, about the yang energy, the active energy. There's a resurrection that's coming through Pisces season that's also going to break the bonds of all of these things that were hidden in the dark and were having such a grave effect on our realities as divine beings, and what was keeping us locked out of love, real love. So many of us have gone through so much abuse and dysfunction because of being bound in these contracts that we weren't even aware of consciously, and there's a big breaking of them now. There's a big breaking of them. Yeah. I feel like the King of Pentacles is outruling the King of Cups. And I don't say that as the energies in tarot as we would know it. This isn't like pitting one against the other, but there was something about this King of Cups being like, the overseer of these maritime entities. And the King of Pentacles is like taking his seat here on earth as taking his throne back on earth as it already is in the heavens. It's like there's some kind of reclamation energy here. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So we got the fire energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So deep emotional, but we also have the grounding of all of this. So we have these fast-moving energies of fire and water that are like alchemizing in order to be grounded into this energy. But it's more than a grounding, because it's also the ability to then move forward and to take action and to have authority over it. There's also this energy here, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but if you've done any study around like sacred sex and its history, and how so many civilizations, including like the United Kingdom, had this tradition where they used to, once upon a time, in order to actually become king and to get their crown, they had to be approved by the guardians of the earth. They had to be approved by the nature spirits. They had to be approved by in spirit too. And in order to do that, part of their initiation, in order to get the knowledge to be ruler, in order to receive their crown came by having to, well, not having to sleep, but they slept with the high priestess who had been appointed, by the divine to have this position. And I'm forgetting the name, but I think in some traditions, specifically here in the UK, they were called Quen women, and it's where we get the word actually country, because in order to be crowned king and to oversee a kingdom, or to be in rule over a country, your initiation, your coronation came by way of sexual union with the woman who held the keys to and the authority over all of the land, if that makes sense. There's a great book about it called The Sacred Sex Rites of Ishtar, and it goes into the history of it. And there's something about that coming back into being, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen globally or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there's something about the essence of that returning, the true coronation. There's something about that coronation energy that's coming through sexual union with divine partners. It's like the coronation of like the divine position that many of these people and couples have on the earth. And that doesn't even mean that they or you have to be very public, or it's deeper than that. It's energetic. It's what will occur in terms of what will unlock in the earth because of that quote unquote coronation. And in fact, when you think about it and you look at world events that are happening this year, and you think back to what happened in 2020 and what that virus actually means too, then you'll begin to recognize that that was their agenda all along. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going any deeper. I don't have the time to get lost, and I wasn't going to do this message to begin with, but it's been a pleasure to do so. I hope that it's been helpful and insightful. I hope it's given you some food for thought. I hope that it's unlocked your consciousness in another way where you can access some of the wisdom that's locked within you. I hope it's activated you in some way. I hope that it's helping you to uncover more of your power and your truth, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to shine light and to help you build yours. Build your light, grow your light. That's what we're here to do for one another. And it's an incredible time to be alive. It's an incredible time to be a part of this. And let's hold on to that instead of, all of the other fuckery they want to drag us into focusing on. So I'm sending you guys so much love. If you would like to work with me, as always, my information is below. You can check out my services through my website. And then if you're interested, feel free to drop me an email. I will be updating my services this week to expand them, to make some of what I offer a little bit more accessible. If you're not you don't want to go all in with having a mentoring session, that's fine too. But yes, so please stay tuned. It's been a pleasure reading for you as always. I'm sending you guys so much love and peace. Until next time, be well.